Second one is to make an accurate assessment. So the problem we were discussing earlier was when we have unrealistic expectations of our kids, right? So if you have an unrealistic expectation, what's the thing to do? If the problem is an unrealistic expectation, then have a realistic expectation. So the unrealistic expectations are the things that we just tend to imagine within our own minds as to how the child is or ought to be. So this is a really important point for all of life in general. We can live in the world the way that we think it should be, or we can live in the world the way that it is. A good example of this is every weekend along the Santa Monica beachfront, there's a bicycle path there. Bicycles only. Now, I've seen so many cyclists, their fancy helmets and their fancy glasses and their lycra and their gloves and their fancy bikes, and they're flying through there at 30 miles an hour. And they are angry at the pedestrians who are milling around on the bicycle path and looking at their watches and taking selfies in the middle of the path. They feel that they are justified. They are living in the world the way they think it should be. It should be the case that the pedestrians only walk on the walk path and the cyclists only cycle on the cycle path. That's the way the world should be because that's what the signs say. And so I function as if that's the way the world is. That's not how it is. In Santa Monica, on the weekends, you will find kids and parents and everybody else milling around where they shouldn't be. That's the way the world is. But instead, they are functioning the way that they think it should be, and they're the ones who end up with scraped knees. So too, we can function with our children the way that we think they should be, or we can function with them the way that they actually are. The choice is ours. The way to make sure that we function the way that they are is by finding out. How are they? What are they like? And the reason that making continuous assessments is so important is because kids are changing very rapidly. They're learning so much stuff, cognitively, emotionally, socially. If we are attached, we look back at that beautiful child when they were 3 or 4 years old, perfect and learning language and all the rest of it. Now they're 6 or 7. I treat the child based upon that beautiful memory that I'm stuck in. The way that she was 2 years ago, not the way that she is now. So if we keep making assessments, what is the nature of my child? What's he or she like? What are they good at? What are they not good at? There's another important question. I was working at a school and I heard this phrase from 3 separate teachers. All said tongue-in-cheek. They said, oh yeah, every parent's child is exceptional. We all have that rose-coloured view of our own child, as it were. So we've got to ask, what is my child not good at? What are the areas that she has a weakness in, that she has challenges with? So that we have an understanding. So there is this quote he gives here from George Bernard Shaw. I'm sort of paraphrasing. He says, the most sensible man I know is my tailor. He takes fresh measurements every time I see him. He doesn't say, well, last time you came in you had this waist and this length, so I'll make the same suit again. No, he can't afford to do that. He'll lose his money. He's got to make sure, okay, let's see if your waist is the same. Oh, lost a couple of inches. Good. Whatever. When we are interacting, we should periodically take fresh measurements. The other aspect is the same sort of idea. It's making an assessment of our own mind. So managing our own mind essentially means questioning it. What am I thinking about and why? So attachment arises because of indiscriminate thought. The mind is rushing on its own towards an object. I can't stop thinking about him. I can't stop thinking about her. I can't stop thinking about that event. If we are able to integrate this question, what am I thinking about? And then answer it. I'm thinking about whatever. Why am I thinking about it? Is this developing an attachment? So this is the example we often give. Okay, boy meets a girl for the first time. Young man, young woman, they're at a party. They meet, they enjoy each other's company, they laugh with each other's jokes, and so on and so forth. At the end, they swap mobile numbers. They go their separate ways, all very well and good. Next day, the boy's at the bus stop waiting for the bus. It's 10 minutes away. What happens? He starts thinking about that girl from last night. Off his mind goes. What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about the beautiful Jacinda. Why am I thinking about her? Because she's beautiful. When the mind flows on its own towards an object, it is the development of attachment. This is why we need to understand this. Because unless we recognize this, then we won't know that I ought to pull back. If we try to pull back our thoughts without having a clear knowledge of why, then this is the beautiful definition of suppression. So if someone says to you, if you're thinking about something indiscriminately, you should stop doing it, clip the thought. And you go, okay, I'll try anything. So you try it, but not really understanding why you're doing it, then you are suppressing the thought. You are not controlling it. So the essence of successful thought control is the redirection of your thoughts, not the stopping of your thoughts. So, give another simple example. Let's say you have your favorite sports drink. Every morning you go out for a jog or go for a walk. You come back, open the refrigerator, grab your favorite sports drink, and down it goes. Lovely. And then you read, the European Union has had this sports drink banned for the last 5 years because they're concerned about the carcinogenic behavior of some of the additives. You learn that. Now what happens when you go to the refrigerator to get your sports drink? So your mind still wants it because you still like it. But this time when you say no to the sports drink, you don't feel frustrated, you don't feel suppressed, you feel, no, I'm doing the right thing because I'm interested in, my health. Drinking that sports drink is detrimental and I want to be healthy. So too, the mind naturally wants to go and think about our children. Is this developing attachment? Indiscriminate? Yes. To simply stop the thought, it's going to be impossible unless you have a reason to do so, unless you have a target to get back to. Do I need to be thinking about my son, my daughter right now? What's the purpose for it? No. Then is it developing attachment? Yes. It's creating disharmony. I want to get back to a proper harmonious relationship. And so that will be the redirection. What am I thinking about and why? Same thing when it comes to actions. What am I doing and why? What's the purpose? And that it's a good thing, and that the evidence shows it's a good thing. So what am I thinking about and why? What am I doing and why?